Let's get real. Not everyone who smiles in your face wants the best for you. Some people would rather see you stumble than succeed, but they'll never say it outright. Instead, they hide behind friendly facades, fake compliments, and forced politeness. Ever been in that situation? Thinking someone was in your corner only to discover they were secretly hoping for your downfall. It's brutal, and I've been there. But here's the truth. If you don't recognize the signs early, you'll waste your time and energy on people who don't actually care. Today we're peeling back the curtain and cutting through the BS to talk about those subtle signs that someone dislikes you but is hiding it. You might not like what you hear, but facing the truth is better than living in denial. Sign 1. Constant jokes at your expense. Ever been around someone who loves to joke about your flaws? Maybe they pick at your quirks, your mistakes, or the things you care about, always with a smile saying, "I'm just messing with you." It might seem harmless at first, but let's not fool ourselves. These jokes are more than just playful banter. They're digs, calculated jabs meant to chip away at your self-esteem bit by bit. I remember someone I thought was a friend. They'd always comment on the way I dressed, the way I spoke, even the things I was passionate about. At first, I laughed it off, thinking, it's all in good fun, right? But soon I noticed the pattern. It was never my strengths they joked about, always my weaknesses. And that's the controversy here. People who constantly joke about your flaws aren't doing it out of affection. They're testing how much disrespect you'll tolerate. It's a way for them to assert control subtly while keeping you in your place. They're telling you loud and clear that they see you as beneath them. And the worst part? They get away with it because we've been taught that if we can't take a joke, then we're the problem. But let me flip that script for you. Standing up for yourself when a joke crosses the line isn't weak, it's essential. True friends don't need to point out your flaws to feel better about themselves. They celebrate your strengths, lift you up, and don't make you the punchline for their laughs. Allowing others to disrespect you, even in jokes, is a slippery slope. Because once you let it slide, they push a little more, until you're left doubting your self-worth, all because you didn't want to seem too sensitive. So here's my advice. The next time someone makes you the punchline, ask yourself, is this really funny? And if it's not, don't just laugh it off. Set your boundaries. Your self-respect is worth way more than someone's cheap laugh. Sign 2, compliments that hurt. We've all been there. Someone gives you a compliment, but instead of feeling good, you're left with that sting, like a slap disguised as a pat on the back. It's the kind of compliment that makes you pause and think, wait, was that a compliment or an insult? Here's the hard reality. Often it's both. They're playing a power game, giving you a compliment designed to keep you in your place, a sneaky way of telling you, you'll never be as good as me. People who give backhanded compliments usually do so because they're insecure about themselves. They see your potential and it scares them, so they try to keep you down with a backhanded compliment. Here's the deep message. You don't have to accept this disguised hostility. You have the power to reject it. And when you recognize it for what it is, that poison loses its sting. Let's get real. Compliments should lift you up, not tear you down. If someone's words leave you questioning yourself, maybe it's time to question their intentions instead. Life is way too short to spend it around people who can't genuinely celebrate your wins. Sign 3. The subtle exclusion. Let's talk about that feeling of realizing you've been accidentally left out. It's not the big things that hurt the most, it's the little things, like finding out your friends forgot to invite you to that dinner or that weekend trip. They'll swear it was an oversight, a last-minute decision, or worse, they'll assume you were too busy anyway. But let's be real. These aren't accidents. This is social exclusion in its most passive-aggressive form, and it's a clear sign that you're not as valued as you thought. This kind of exclusion isn't thoughtlessness, it's deliberate. It's a way of sending a message without saying a word, hoping you'll just fade out quietly without causing a scene. I had to learn this the hard way. For a while, I let these accidental exclusions slide, but then I realized that by staying silent, I was giving them permission to keep doing it. So I started calling it out, and guess what? Some got defensive, but the dynamics changed because I made it clear I wasn't going to let them treat me as an afterthought. Sign 4. Too busy when it comes to you. How many times have you heard, "I'm so busy, sorry I can't hang out"? But you notice they're always available for others. They're always posting pictures with friends, hanging out, making time for everyone, except you. Here's the brutal truth. They're not too busy, they're just too busy for you. We've been conditioned to accept busy as a valid excuse, but let's be honest, people make time for who they care about. Constant busyness is often a polite way of saying, "I don't want to spend time with you." Being on the receiving end of this excuse taught me something invaluable. It's better to be honest, even if it's uncomfortable, than to keep people waiting with excuses. When I finally addressed this with a friend, it was awkward, but it was worth it because I gained clarity. And here's the deep message. Your time is precious. Don't waste it on people who can't be bothered to make time for you. Sign 5. Avoidance of physical contact. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Physical contact, or the lack of it. Physical contact is a basic human interaction, a way to build trust and connection. So when someone consistently avoids even the most casual touch with you, they're sending a clear message. I once had a colleague who recoiled every time I reached out for a handshake or friendly pat. Eventually, I realized it was a deliberate effort to keep me at a distance. Here's the controversial part. People who avoid physical contact selectively are communicating a lack of comfort or connection with you. Sure, some people aren't touchy-feely, and that's fine, but when they're warm with others and stiff with you, it's a red flag. I've learned to pay attention to these cues because physical contact is a fundamental part of human connection. If someone is consistently avoiding it with you, it's time to confront the truth and ask if there's something more going on here. Sign 6. Disappearing act during hard times. Nothing tests a relationship like a crisis. When life gets tough, that's when you find out who your real friends are. If someone disappears the moment you need them, they're showing you where you stand in their life. True support isn't about convenience. It's about being there when it's hard, uncomfortable, and the last thing they want to do. If they can't show up when you're struggling, then maybe they were never there in the first place. Life is too short to invest in fair-weather friends. Surround yourself with people who will stand by you in the storm, not just bask in the sunshine. Those rare individuals who stick around when the chips are down, those are the relationships worth holding on to. Sign 7. Gossiping behind your back. Gossip. It's the social poison that spreads faster than wildfire, and when someone you consider a friend talks behind your back, they're not just sharing a harmless story, they're sabotaging your trust and your relationship. When they gossip about you, it's a clear sign they don't respect you, no matter how friendly they act to your face. Here's the controversial truth. People who gossip about others to you will gossip about you to others. I remember the sting of betrayal when I found out a friend had turned my vulnerability into entertainment for others. Gossip isn't harmless. It's a betrayal, plain and simple, and it says far more about them than it does about you. So here's the reality. Life is too short to be surrounded by people who can't celebrate your wins or stand by you when you need them. Stand tall, set your boundaries, and don't let anyone diminish your worth. You deserve people in your life who lift you up, people who see your value without feeling threatened. So don't be afraid to ask the tough questions or make the tough decisions. Surround yourself with genuine, uplifting relationships and let go of those who've shown you who they really are. Because in the end, the people who truly care won't need to hide it.